You're listening to SM Media, the home of exclusive West of Scotland Football League content. Hi folks, and welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media West of Scotland Football Show. I'm Scott Pike. It's an absolute pleasure to be your host as always. I'd like to welcome this week's special guest. I've been trying to get you on for ages now. I've finally got you. It's a pleasure to welcome the Kilsyth Athletic manager, Bailey Hanlon. Bailey, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for the invite.
No worries,
first time I've done something like this, so just keep me right.
I'll try my best. It's a pleasure to have you on, mate. Obviously, the past couple of months, I've been trying to get you on, try to talk about, obviously, because I think you're in a kind of unique position. Obviously, you're the youngest manager in the West by quite a considerable margin as well. But you're also one of the only two managers so far this season to have a 100% winning record. Just talk about the season so far and how it's went, and just settling in, getting a kind of summer under your belt. How's it been, the start so far this season?
It's been good. I can't lie. If you'd have said 7 games in, would have been unbeaten, I probably wouldn't have believed you, to be fair, at the start of the year. But boys have been great. They've been really kind of receptive to everything we're trying to do. So I can't complain. Obviously we've been ran close a few games. Had to kind of ride our luck at times, particularly a couple of weeks ago against Thrieve. But overall, it's been a really, really good start to the season.
See, obviously, getting into Kilsyth, obviously you took the job. Was it kind of the start of the year, like when you took the job? What was it about Kilsyth, and obviously from their perspective as well, like taking a gamble and somebody yourself that is very young? How did it kind of come together? I'm quite interested to know how you ended up taking the Kilsyth job and how they ended up kind of going for you.
So I was in last year with the previous manager. I was just doing a wee bit of coaching. Initially just came in to do kind of wee bits with boys 1-to-1 or wee small group kind of things. And then as that season progressed, they asked me to be his assistant. And then Davey decided in about February time that he was going to take a step back at the end of last season. And he said, look, I think you should do it. And I was like, nah, I just didn't fancy it at first thought. And I actually tried to get another couple of people in. Like the club were great. They said, like, we're not going to hire just any random. Like, we'll leave it to you. You can bring in anyone you know, or you can kind of keep it internal. So I did try that at first, and the longer it went on, and the guy I wanted in was unsuccessful. I didn't get it. Didn't get him, sorry. And then the longer it went on, I was like, do you know what? I might just try it. I'd spoke to a few people, and they said, look, just go for it. The worst that happens is you fail, and you see how things go. But so far it's went all right. So I can't complain.
Brilliant. What's it been like, obviously, like getting into that? Because it's obviously it must be kind of puzzling at first when you make that big step up. But how's it been? How you kind of settled into it, and what's the players been like with you? What's other coaches around the league been like with you as well?
It's been good. It's been good. As I say, I wasn't sure at first particularly how the players would react. Obviously, when kind of told them at the end of last season, some of the boys from then have moved on, and we've got new boys in. And even the boys that have come in over summer have been brilliant. Some of them obviously a wee bit older than myself, which I'm sure is maybe a bit weird for them at first, but they've I think they've got used to it. I think I'm quite lucky that we've got, like, my assistant manager Drew is a wee bit older than myself, so a bit more experienced, and other managers in the league been brand new as well. Been really, really good. So it's all going all right so far.
Brilliant. See, obviously as well, like the fourth division, obviously it's a new league. There was getting into a kind of new surroundings. 6 new teams going into it this year. What's that been like as well? Like, the club obviously have ambition. There's no doubt about that. You can see just with the players they brought in, and obviously the position they're in right now. What's that like as well? That all these new clubs kind of coming through amateurs, like where Kilsyth have came from. How's that kind of worked so far this season?
It's been really exciting, to be fair. Really, really good. obviously we were in the league last year when it was in its kind of development phase, and obviously Finnart won that, and they went up, and then we heard there was new entries coming in, and we were just kind of waiting to see what it's been like. But the ones that we've played so far, particularly Threave, obviously West Park came in for the amateur setup, been really, really good. So I think it's been a kind of great addition to the league. Standard's really good, and obviously we'll just see. I think it's 3 that go up this year, and I think maybe 6 come down for Div 3. So it'll be interesting to kind of see wherever they ends up at the end of the year. But I think all of the teams in Division 4 have all got the same ambition eventually, is to get promoted. That's certainly our ambition, and I would just kind of, I think that's certainly our aim. We're confident that we can do that, but obviously we know how difficult it's going to be with the standard that we've got against us.
Right, Bailey, before we get into talking about the action over the weekend, I kind of want to bring up something that caught my eye on kind of social media over the weekend. Now, a lot of clubs took to social media to talk about certain refereeing decisions that didn't go their way. Now, I think I don't want to be too critical and go too far on this, because I know that a lot of the clubs watch it that probably have been doing this over the weekend, and I don't agree with what they've done, but I certainly don't want to start a big scene about it. But I'm just going to say the problem with referees in the West in particular, and this is the same for the East, the South, the Lowland League, the amateurs, I'm very critical of referees. I think the standard in Scotland is not good. I even think it's not good at professional level. With this thing of social media, though, if you're a club account and you're taking to your own social media to just constantly talk about how you've been cheated out again because of a referee, I think you run a big risk of putting referees off staying in the game, but you also run a big risk of, like today, for example, when you're trying to get through the results for something like this, you're having to go through 9 or 10 tweets regarding referees and saying they've been cheated out again before you actually see what the result was. That to me is a potential problem. I think clubs need to be a bit more professional on that. I don't know what your take on that is, but that's certainly how I feel about it just now.
I completely agree. I think obviously I've seen a lot over the weekend on the Twitter about a couple of decisions that didn't go teams' way, and it's always difficult. I think maybe what we've got the benefit of as Kilsyth is that we're such a small staff that if somebody put something dodgy on the social media that wasn't appropriate, like I could say, look, by the way, maybe that's probably not the best thing to have out there. Other clubs obviously run different. They have dedicated social media teams or guys that do that. I think it's difficult, as you said, that the standard of refereeing isn't brilliant across the board. I think the ones that I kind of get on better with and the ones that I prefer are the guys that can communicate with you and communicate with the players on the pitch. And you're not going to agree with every decision they make, but as long as they kind of explain it and see, I've seen it from this angle and it looked like this, and then you don't mind that. I think obviously the associations are trying to get young referees in, and I think that is kind of, particularly at community level, I work in community football, so I see it a lot, as the communication for young referees is obviously a wee bit less, and I think that's kind of what gets coaches and managers a bit frustrated when the guys just don't want to engage with them at the side of the pitch. And I suppose referees will say, I don't need to engage with you, it's my decision, and you need to go on with it, which is fair. But I think it always makes it easier if you can just have that two-way communication, and he can explain what he's seen, he or she, sorry, can explain what they've seen. And but as I said, you might not agree with it, but that's the way it is.
And that, I think I agree with you on the point about the referees that communicate. Certainly, you'll feel a bit more. You'll feel that you can go to them a bit more and kind of get a proper explanation. Because I don't want to say that referees don't deserve any criticism. They absolutely, if they get a decision wrong, they should be questioned why they've got it wrong. I don't disagree with that. But what my position on this is, I get like managers on the side of the park are going to, if they don't like a decision, they're going to disagree with it, they're going to shout, they're going to get hyper. Same with folk in the terraces, I get all that. I think with social media, though, you're running a big risk because we have this direct platform now that most of these referees will probably be on as well. You're going into personal abuse. You're going into potential, making it really difficult for these people to kind of have a life without getting... And that's the same for like you and I are probably see that as well. Like if I put something up people don't agree with, I'll get some stick for it.
Yeah.
If people don't like your team not getting results, for example, you're open up to that as well. But there's got to be, and this is the thing I think with social media that I think is dangerous for football. People now have that platform to make things difficult for other people. I don't think the clubs should be doing that. I think the clubs should be doing everything to avoid that. Have your personal opinions. Don't use your club's platform to do that.
Aye. No, I think I completely agree. I think clubs should be doing kind of everything to discourage abuse and particularly anything personal for referees. I think also an issue with social media is that it stays there forever.
Yeah.
Like no matter, you could delete it a minute later after you tweeted it, but somebody might have screenshotted it and that's it. It's out there for good. It's different in person, but if you put it online, then you need to kind of be held accountable for what you've said, because there'll be proof of it somewhere.
And that's a good example as well with the Kilburn thing over the week as well. They've obviously come under a lot of attention for some of their fans' behaviour. With that as well, Kilburn came out during the week and made a great statement. They basically said, we need to put a stop to this.
Yeah.
The club are in danger of pulling out of the West because of that. That is a message. They're sending a message to those, I'm going to say fans, but they're not really, because if you're willing to do that and put your club under scrutiny, you're not a fan of the football club. But you've got the loyal fan base who are there basically every week putting their heart and soul into it. You've got a great committee, a great management team, great players. That spoils it for everybody. With some of those clubs, they're basically representing their whole committee. And I know for a fact that some of those clubs their committees will be raging with a social media team doing that. So that would be my take on it is, and I didn't want to spend too much time on it, but it's just something that caught my eye over the weekend that I think we need to kind of get away from.
Aye, no, absolutely, completely agree.
We'll get into the action over the weekend. There's a lot of action to go through. The Premier Division, Darvel 5, Troon 0. Let's start with Darvel. Another clinical performance by a really impressive team. They've now went top of the league, joint with Cumnock. We've spoke for weeks about Darvel's squad depth and things like that as well. Jamie Glasgow coming in, Thomas Riley from Kilty, the boy Watt from Rob Roy as well. They are stacked in all those areas, but again, they're getting the job done on the park. Alan McKenzie on our goal, Jamie Glasgow coming in for Auchinleck, scoring 2. I think he had a couple in the cup as well. They're beginning to click, Darvel, and they're taking goals off teams. And Troon, I watched Troon a couple of weeks ago. I was impressed with them. I thought they were very workmanlike. I thought they were very hard to beat. For Darvel to beat them 5-0 suggests that Darvel just have a lot to offer at the top of that table.
Aye, I think obviously it's well documented how strong they are. You see things on Twitter all the time about how much money they spend and whatever, but listen, on the pitch, that's all that matters, and they get the job done usually. Obviously, they were unlucky not to go up last year, which I don't agree with. I think if you win the league, you need to go up straight away. I think that's the only reason a pyramid works. But obviously, the current situation is they need to go into a kind of playoff with a couple of other teams. But as you say, 5 goals that says a lot. I think they've got a really strong team. I seen Mick Kennedy tweet the other day. I think something they said about squad depth, and I think he replied saying they've maybe only got 18 to 20 signed players. But when you look at the quality of the 18 or 20 boys, it's crazy. I worked at Falkirk when Ian McShane was there, and that was Championship. Obviously, he's won things with St Mirren and Ross County, and now he's playing in the Premier Division. So they've got ridiculous quality, not just in their first 11, but the guys coming off the side are just as good. And
that's the thing as well. Well, like Darvel, you've got, just off the top of my head, you've got like as you say, Ian McShane. If Ian McShane's injured, you've got like Thomas Riley in there. Jamie Glasgow's injured, Lewis Morrison can come in. That a lot of teams in the West would kill for that, and it just shows you you may obviously know, but as we spoke about that a couple of weeks ago, will you be able to keep all the players happy? Now, I've been at Darvel how many times. There's one thing in that squad is togetherness, and I think Mick's implemented that. So it's a real good atmosphere at the club, but they are winning. They're winning games. They're in the next round of the Scottish Cup. They're going for the Junior Cup. They're going for a successful season. and
Yeah.
it shows you they're going for it in every capacity, and they've got the squad to do it.
Aye, listen, absolutely all the best to them. I hope they compete on all fronts for as long as they possibly can. I think obviously they've got Talbot in the Junior Cup.
Yeah.
Coming up, I think, in a few weeks, and obviously I was at the Syngenta game in the Scottish Cup. No, sorry, that was Steve. I think I'm getting mixed up. I'm sure. No, do you know what it was? I watched them against. It was at Oakview. They played Stenhousemuir in a pre-season friendly. That's what it was. I know it was pre-season. Listen, you can only take so much for that, but they bet Stenhousemuir 2-1, who obviously a League Two club, a couple of divisions above. But Darvel, it wasn't a smash and grab. They were probably the better team. And obviously, as I said, it's a friendly. People might not have been playing, and people might have been rested and whatever. But that was early on in the season, and they looked really, really strong. So it'd be great to see if they can continue that all through the year.
And that's the thing as well. Obviously, Darvel are sitting top of the league with Cumnock, who obviously was kind of top of the table clash with Cumnock and Rob Roy as well. Cumnock got their win. Gregory Ferry and Jordan Moore with the 2 goals for Cumnock. Cumnock have beat Darvel in the first game of the season. And it shows you, like, despite obviously Darvel being probably the favourites and a lot of people's pick to win the league, Cumnock have, do you know what I mean? They've been to Darvel first game of the season, they picked up the result. They've went on a pretty good run as well. I think they played 6 and only lost 2, won 4. They're sitting joint top with Darvel. Cumnock as well, they're a team to keep an eye on. Obviously, the big clash to look forward to against Dumbarton. Going to Rob Roy, who have been in terrific form so far this season, that's not an easy place to go. That's a big win for Cumnock.
Oh, 100%, 100%. We played Rob Roy in a friendly a few weeks ago, and they were a really, really good side. I think they rested a few boys, but even the boys that came in, they done the job. And going down to Guys Meadows, tough place to go, so it's a good result. I seen the video on Twitter of the boys celebrating in front of Maxie, which I wasn't sure how to take that, but I don't know the background there.
I don't really know the background either, but I don't understand how he was booked, because he didn't go off the park. No.
So it's one of them. I don't know if anything's been said before. Maybe they've had a wee bite each other on the pitch, or maybe he used to play for Stuart. I don't know. But I seen he get a second booking. It's one of them. It's a bit harsh, I think.
I didn't understand it. If there's something happened, I don't know. I've not dug into what actually happened or what went on. I just saw the video, just like yourself. And
I think it's went pretty viral, to be fair.
I don't know if there obviously is more to it than meets the eye, and we're not going to speculate. But it's a weird thing as well. There's obviously some sort of kind of real fight about that game. Like that's what you want. You obviously don't want it to become too personal, but you want to see some good kind of fighting between, like, two, not fighting, but you know what I mean, like just a bit of needle, yeah. Like something more, but a massive win for Cumnock, and it obviously puts Cumnock into joint top. Pollock are only a point behind. They had a 1-1 draw with Auchinleck. All reports, I've spoke to a lot of people at the game, fair result. I don't think either side deserved to win. I think the referee came under a lot of scrutiny in that game, but I think both sides will be happy with that point.
I think it was a couple of sending offs in that game.
I think it got a bit scrappy, yeah.
And I think obviously I seen somebody refer back to the game with them last year. I think it was at Newlands Field when there was a couple of daft sending offs as well. Yeah,
that was crazy. That was.
I remember everything on the Twitter after that game. So, I mean, at least it wasn't as bad as that. But if it's a fair result, it's obviously 2 top teams. And as you say, there was probably a wee bit of needle again in between that, which is what people want to see.
And I think Pollock will probably be the happier of the 2 teams regarding their start, but Auchinleck as well. I think Auchinleck will go on a run. I think they're beginning to get their team back into full flow. I think Shanker's coming back will be a big one as well. Just getting that, we spoke about squad depth with Darrell. Talbot do have a lot of good players. It's just obviously, and they've signed a few players as well. Just getting it all to mix, and there's no better guy than Tucker at really getting as much as they can out the side. I think Talbot will do pretty well. I think that game against Darvel will be massive, but they'll be home to get a league run going quickly.
No, absolutely. I think a club as big as that, they won't go on a long run of bad results. They'll get it right eventually. As you said, they've got a quality team, and that'll come through. Obviously, they've maybe had a wee kind of slow start to the season, but as you say, I think they'll definitely start picking up results, and I'm sure they'll go on a run. And
it's that thing as well. Like you look at them, they're sitting 11th in the league, and you think, well, that's maybe not the best start, but they've only lost 1 game. They've drew 2. They obviously lost to Darvel, but it's not like they're miles away from where they need to be. They're only 4 points from top, and I know there's obviously they've played the same amount of games with Darwell and they're only 4 points away from them. So there isn't all it needs is maybe a 4 or 5 game winning run, and Talbot will be probably
right back up there.
I'll be interested to see how that goes. One team that picked up a massive result on Saturday were Atherley, a 1-0 away win to Hurlford, who'd obviously that was their first defeat of the season. That's a massive 3 points for Atherley.
Absolutely. I think obviously Hurlford had started really, really well. I think earlier on in the season it was them and Rob Roy that were sitting first and second at one point. So for Atherley to get that a clean sheet and a 1-0 win is a brilliant result. I think that maybe Atherley obviously were struggling. I can't remember if they're third bottom or maybe they were second bottom. They've maybe moved slightly, but
they're now fourth bottom. But they were sitting
fourth?
Yeah, they were sitting joint with Cambuslang on 3 points.
Right.
So and they obviously I think they have 3 points deducted or something, but I think they won it back in appeal or something like that.
Aye.
So,
but no, it's a great result for them.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's one of those places as well where you go to Hurlford and any positive result, you're taking it and running.
Aye.
And obviously to end Hurlford's unbeaten run is massive. So a big 3 points for Atherley. I think that's probably the result of the weekend. I think a team that really needed a big emphatic result was Clydebank, and they went to Petershill and won 4-1. 4 different goal scorers: Black, Weir, Little and Johnson. Big win for Clydebank, gets them up to 9 points in 6 games. They were struggling a wee bit. They were only getting the results. They obviously went 1-0 up against Troon, the game I was at. They ended up losing it 3-1. So to go to a place like Petershill, who obviously haven't had the best start, but still, you know as well as I do, going to their places, it's never easy. That'll be big for Moff and these guys.
Aye, absolutely. I think obviously, as you said, Petershill struggling down the bottom of the table, but I think for Clydebank, similar a wee bit to Auchinleck in terms of they've had a slow start to the season, but as we said, they've got a quality squad as well, quality team, and they'll be hoping to then go on a run and playing Petershill, as I said, no disrespect, but to get that win, couple of goals, that gives the boys confidence, and they'll be hoping to then kick on for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a big win, and I think they'll be hoping to kick on as well. Kilwinning also sitting 9 points as well from 5 games. They get their third win of the season in the league, a 2-0 away win to Lags. Dylan Mackin again and the boy Torrance making it 2-0. I've been clear in this show a few weeks ago. I think Dylan Mackin's one of the best strikers in this league. I think he'll score goals for fun, and he's certainly delivering so far.
Yeah, it's one. I mean, I can't comment. I've not seen the boy personally. I know obviously Lags lost a striker, Will Sewell.
Yeah.
Last year he went to Stenhousemuir and he's been flying there. So it's obviously it's tough for them, but if they've got the boy Dylan coming in and he's banging the goals in, then that's absolutely brilliant for them.
Mm-hmm. A big 3 points as well. I think that's a place. Obviously Lags. I think Lags are sitting in 7 points. They've had 4 draws, 1 win. They'll be hoping to maybe turn a couple of draws into wins, but Kilwinning, I think that will be a big result for Kilwinning, because all Ayrshire games are always tough. It's just about getting the result. That's a big 3 points for them. Glenafton's David Markey saved a last-minute penalty to deny Beith the winner. It finished 1-1 between Beith and Glenafton. I think Beith probably would be the more frustrated of the two, obviously with a late penalty miss, but probably an even game in all reports. I think both sides will probably be all right with a draw. I think it puts Beith into 10 points for 6 games and Glenafton are sitting in 8 points for 6 games. So they've had similar starts, only 2 points between them, but all reports were that Beith should have won.
We watched Glenafton and again in pre-season. They came up this way. I think they played Rossville up at Hunters Hill, Rossville Academy maybe. Mm-hmm. And it's one of them, for them, goalie saving a penalty in the last minute, that'll almost make it feel a wee bit better than a draw. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you're still only getting the point, but it could have so easily went the other way.
Yeah.
So keeper will be buzzing, and they'll be kind of happy if it was a one-sided game. They'll be happy to come out with that with a point.
Aye, I don't know if it was a one-sided game, but it was very. I think the post Beith got going. I think Glenafton took the lead, and Beith get slowly into it. Josh Fowler equalised, and I think Beith were just were making it very difficult. So obviously denying Beith 3 points will be massive for the Glens. But Cambuslang and Irvine Meadow was called off due to the weather. But First Division, the league that always amazes me just how stacked it is, and you look at this league table. Let's start with Whitlets 3, Cumbernauld 4, 7 goals. Cumbernauld, a double for McNeil, a massive 3 points for Cumbernauld. Gets them into 9 points for 7 games. they've actually had a good start, and although probably they're sitting in 8th, but massive 3 points for them. Whitlett's obviously their first win of the season. I think they won their first 2, and I think they've lost their next 5. They'll be hoping to maybe get that. I think they'll be gutted with that. Obviously, scoring 3 and not getting anything from the game. But Cumbernauld, again, big 3 points for them.
Absolutely, it's one of them. I'm a wee bit short on info on Cumbernauld. I usually go down there and do a wee bit of work out of the facility with the pitches up the back, and I usually get the kind of all the inside info for John. So I've not actually heard about this weekend's game. I wasn't down on Sunday, but obviously Whitlett's, I think they're sitting second bottom of the league. So for them to score 3 goals and, as you say, not get the win, they'll be gutted with that. But Cumbernauld United, I think I've spoke to the guys down there a couple of times. They're obviously hoping to get promotion straight back up. So every win they can pick up is another wee step closer to their end goal.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big 3 points. Drumchapel went to Benburb and won 2-0. They've now won 3 in a row. Sorry. David Templeton with a double now. When David Templeton came in the summer, we thought, if he's fit, he's going to be great in this league. So far he is. So far he's shown that when he's fit, he's really impressive.
Aye, absolutely. We played them in the cup a couple of weeks ago now, maybe about a month ago. And I work with David at Hamilton. So he coaches a couple of age groups above me at Hamilton. So I was kind of talking to him before and after the game. But you can just see his quality. You can see he's played at a level. We tried to keep him quiet. We tried to get a man on him and play against him and make contact with him whenever we could. He actually came in the next night after our game. His ankle was massive at Hamilton, so he had a wee word. But no, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. I think the game before they played us, I think he scored an absolute worldie into the top corner. So you can see his quality, and he's really started really well in that league. Yeah,
and that's Drumchapel up to 3rd as well, and it shows you just getting 3 wins in a row can put you up the league, because I think they'd lost 2 of their first 3. Yeah, 2 of their first 3, and obviously just getting 3 wins in a row just puts you up the table. So it's a massive 3 points for them. Benburb, they'll be hoping to get some wins in the board. They're only 4 points for 5 games so far. They'll be hoping to get some win in the board. They've obviously done really well in the cup, but they'll be hoping to translate that form into the league. Next game I want to talk about, a massive 3 points, the first win of the season for Bonneton, 2-1 win over Shotts. Now this is one of the games I was talking about where the referee, I think, had a part to play, but that'll be a massive 3 points for Bonneton. They've been unlucky in a lot of their games this season. They've lost their first 5. They've now got 4 points from 2 games. Big 3 points. That'll feel massive for them.
Aye, absolutely. I've not been down to Bonneton a wee while. I think last time I went down was to play under 20s. But it's a great setup down there. It's a tough place to go. I think the last time I got battered 5-1 maybe down there, so I've not got great memories. But it's a difficult place to go, and they'll be delighted with 8 points. Yeah,
I think they'll be thrilled with that as well. Obviously, gets them off bottom of the league, so that's it. That'll be a massive boost of confidence for them. Next game, Neilston 1, Gartcairn 2. It shows you though, Gartcairn have only lost 1 game. They're in 10 points with 5 games, and they're still sitting 7th in the league. So it shows you just how stacked this league is. But that was a game I was looking forward to seeing, actually. 2 teams probably similar levels. Big win for Gartcairn.
Aye, absolutely. It's one of them. You said you're sitting on that many points after the start, and you're kind of wondering how you're not a bit higher up the league. But it's one of, if they can just keep going and keep picking up wins, similar to Bonneton, they've got a great setup through an Airdrie. Really, really well run club, and loads of kind of good backing. Yeah. So I'm sure they'll be aiming just to keep climbing that table and picking up win after win.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's a massive 3 points for them. Another 3 points as well. Rutherglen, I think they needed it. Gets them up to 8 points from 5 games. A good start for them as well. 2-0 win away to Thornleywood. Probably 2 even teams as well, but Rutherglen, big 3 points as well.
Aye, absolutely. We played Thornleywood, I think it was last year, and again, tough team. I think we maybe drew 3 each with them in a wee bounce game. So it's obviously a great win for Rutherglen. Thornleywood, difficult side to face. One of my mates plays there. I've not actually spoke to him over the weekend, so I'll need to kind of catch up and see see what he's saying to it. But aye, great win for Rutherglen.
Yeah, absolutely, massive win. 3 draws as well. Let's just go through them. I think I was looking forward to the Kilburnley St Carlots game. I thought this was probably the game of the weekend. I thought ended a 1-1 draw. I want to touch on St Carlots quickly just before we talk about the game. St Carlots have played 5 games in the league, right? They're the only unbeaten team in this league, and they're sitting in 9th. Now, if that doesn't tell you how crazy this league is, then I don't know what will. 2 wins, 3 draws. Now, 2 wins, 3 draws after 5 games. I don't think many leagues are sitting in 9th place, but it just shows you this league's crazy.
So difficult to get a run of wins going, and it's just anybody on their day can beat anybody around about them. And as you say, to be unbeaten and to be sitting 9th again, they'll be wondering what else they can do. But against St Carlots, difficult team to play against. Beat us on penalties last time we played them in the cup last year. Tough game, and they're another really strong team.
Yeah, they've got some amazing players, and like Chris Erson's come in.
Chris Erskine, aye.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's some great players, and there's some. It's not just the fact they're bringing in players from like higher up. They went to likes of Cumnock, brought in likes of Smart Osador and kind of Kieran Hughes and players like that, and they brought in the boy Sweeney and Edie from Petershill. They've went and sourced some of the best players in the league, and it just shows you that. I think these are probably going to be 2 of the teams to be near the top of the league. I think. On you go.
Sorry, I think it's obviously there'll be loads of teams that are well backed. But I think it's what you do with your recruitment and how clever you are with it, and not just to go and spend money kind of anywhere. It's being smart and getting in the right players, and they've got that quality in the door.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. Johnson won, Blantyre won. Blantyre sitting down in 2nd with 13 points. Johnson in 4th with 12. Again, two teams probably evenly matched. The draw was probably the right result in the day.
I think it's one of them. Again, I've got a mate at Blantyre. I need to start speaking to people more. I've not caught up with him again over the weekend. But I think Blantyre came down last year, was it? So
yeah.
Obviously they'll be hoping to get straight back up, sitting in 2nd place.
They had a really good start actually. They've only lost 1 game, 4 wins, 1 draw. Yeah, I mean they've had a really good start, and they're a point behind Kilburnley with a game less. So it shows you they've actually been really good. Had a really good start.
They'll be hoping just to keep that going and see where it gets them at the end of the year.
Yeah, Johnson have had a good start as well. They played 8 games, 3 wins, 3 draws, 2 defeats. Again, just 2 similar teams. I keep every week I talk about how well Jamie McKim's done. It's Johnson. He's done one of the best jobs in the past couple of years.
Excuse me, a wee bit. That was mistimed. Listen. Obviously, again, same as a lot of teams in the division. Loads of quality throughout the team. To go away to, sorry, was it away?
Johnson were at home.
Sorry, at home. But again, a draw against 2nd place in the league, really, really difficult. So good result, and again, just hoping to then go and build a wee run of games, kind of more positive results, and see where it gets them. Yeah,
final game, St Roch's 2, Rossvale 2. Rossvale, that was their 2nd point of the season there. I think they're the only team now in that league without a win. St Roch's have had a really good start. Rossvale, that'll probably feel better for them, just another point in the board. They'll be home to get a win sooner than later, but that'll feel quite big because I think they were 2-0 down, I think, and they went massive. That's a massive point when you think about it.
Yeah, it's one of them. It ends that run that they were on, and it gives the boys maybe a wee bit of confidence to go and say, do you know what, we can compete here. They'll hopefully go and get a good week of training, and they'll just try and build slowly but surely on that draw. And they'll be looking to go and pick up their first victory as soon as possible. Yeah, absolutely. We'll move into the 2nd division. We will start at the top. Renfrew are 6 wins from 6, a 5-3 win over Maryhill. David McKenna with a hat-trick. That is, again, we're speaking about a lot of teams, big results. Craig Mark obviously lost to Maybole. We'll kind of blend that in. They lost 3-1 at home to Maybole. That just gives Renfrew a 3-point lead. That'll be big for them. Aye, absolutely. I think obviously 5-3, crazy game. One that you wish you were there to see. Again, talking about a couple of teams earlier, Renfrew, another great setup. Maryhill, a tough team as well, one that we faced previously. So to go and score 5 goals is great. Obviously, it keeps you top of the league. So fair play to them.
Yeah, big result for Renfrew as well. Obviously, Mayball as well, going to Craig Mark and all their tie. Mick McCann scoring again. Mick McCann's been in terrific form so far this season. He can still do it. I think he scored a hat-trick in the testimonial for Andy Leishman as well. When you've got players like that, you can do anything.
Aye, absolutely. Obviously, going away up to second place in the league could have been tough. Coming away with a 3-1 win, you'll be absolutely delighted with that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely delighted.
Absolutely. Just run through some other results. Glasgow Persia, big win for them, 4-2 win over Glasgow Uni. Your fellow Kilsyth team, obviously Alan McCorville left as manager during the week. What's your kind of thoughts on that? But obviously it's a big 3 points going to Yoker and winning 1-0.
Aye, so we've got them coming up in the cup in about 3 weeks, I think maybe. And I was selfishly hoping that the management team had stayed in place, because I know Alan and I know Dylan. Personally, I've worked under them both previously. They were my coaches at under 20s. So it would have been good personally for me to kind of put one of my teams against one of theirs. I was texting Dylan over the weekend, and they were just, he says, like, obviously results haven't been good enough. It's not went their way, and you've just got to take it. It happens in football. But to go away 1-0 win is obviously great. It's a good boost for the squad. Maybe not being on the greatest run, but that'll maybe get them going and kick on. They can kick on the rest of the season off the back of that.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see who gets that job. But obviously, it was news during the week, but that's a massive win going to Yoker. Wishaw, they got a big 3-0 win over Glasgow United. Also, other winners were Muirkirk, 4-1 win over Greenock. That's a massive win for Muirkirk as well, because they badly needed that. They had a big win in the first day of the season, but I think they lost 4 straight. Muirkirk, I think, massive credit to them for a 4-1 win over Greenock at home, because Greenock have started really well. Yeah,
again, putting an end to that run. I've spoke about it. It gives the boys so much confidence. It's never easy, and it's never nice to go on that run of a couple of defeats in a row, and you just feel like everything's against you at times. But to then put a stop to that, to get a win on the board, again, the guys will be delighted coming back in this week, and I hope to go and build on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Big win for them. Fourth with a 3-2 win over Ardee as well, and Ashfield 2, St Anthony's 2. So another big weekend in the second division, but Renfrew obviously sitting 3 points clear. I think Renfrew are probably the best team in this league by quite a considerable distance. I think you see David McKenna getting a hat-trick. They've got so much firepower up front. Scott Morton, Kieran Diver, Dominic Innes, have so much talent in there. Stevie Stirling, who's obviously a pro background as well, coming down to the second division. They've got a really good side, I think.
Aye, like obviously you've just listed a few of the boys there. So much quality. Obviously sitting at the top of the league early on, and nothing's won in October, but they'll be really happy with how they've started. It'll just be a challenge for that group of players and the management team if they can keep that going. I think they should be winning the league with the quality that you've just said, but obviously you never know. But no, I think they'll be favourites to go and take that division.
Into the third division, the first game I want to touch on is a 10-goal thriller between Lugar and Bellshill Athletic. Now, at half-time, Lugar were winning this game 3-2. Bellshill won it 6-4 in the end. What a massive... Why? That'd have been a treat to go to.
That's certainly worth your £6 entry or whatever you've paid there.
Some result, and obviously Bellshill, it takes them up to 7 points from 7 games. Lugar, 8 points, 6 defeats. They'll maybe be hoping. I know there's a management team in there. They'll have been hoping for better. But again, that's just a great spectacle for that league, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. Obviously, Lugar sitting near the bottom, I think. I hit third bottom now, but I think if it's one of them, you pay to go and watch that. You're delighted, no matter. Even if you've supported the team that have came out on the wrong side, you can walk away and say, you know what, that was a decent afternoon. 10 goals, you can't really ask for much more than that.
2 teams that were going into this week in really good winning form was Larkhall and Vale of Clyde. Vale of Clyde 2, Larkhall Thistle 3. Larkhall, Cammy Smith with a hat-trick takes them to top of the league. That's, again, 2 teams going in really good form. Whoever won that would probably fancy their chances to be pushing for promotion. Both sides will be aiming for promotion, but I think Larkhall getting a hat-trick, getting the 3 points away against another team in good form, they'll feel that was a good weekend.
Aye, absolutely tough place to go. One of my pals has just signed with Clyde and good squad. So for that call to go and win 3-2 again, that'll fill their whole team, their whole squad with confidence that again they can go and kick on for that.
Absolutely, yeah. Kilsyth with a 3-1 win over the top of the league at the top. The team at the top of the league going into this weekend was Kello. Kilsyth gets them their second win of the season. Obviously, they'd lost their first 6. So Kilsyth getting a really good run so far. That's their second win of the season, beating a team like Kello who started really well. What a boost of confidence that'll be for them.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's 2 wins in a row now. Going away to get the team that were, obviously, as you mentioned, they were top that I just mentioned, signed with Clyde. They just moved for Kilsyth, and they've won both their games after he's left. So I think that could maybe say something. I'll need to have a word with him. But no, I mean, fair play. It's a great result, going and winning 3-1 there.
Absolutely, yeah, big result for them as well. Lanark, they're in a good run as well. That was their 4th win in 6 games. That takes them up to 3rd, a 2-0 win over Les Mahago. Girvan, new manager Robert Wells going in there, a 2-1 win away to Port Glasgow, and Dalry 1-0 win over East Kilbride Thistle. That's 3 big wins for them. But the result of the weekend in that league was probably Ardrossan, a 6-1 home win over Royal Albert. 4 goals for Mark Curra, who obviously came from Girvan. Ardrossan, I think, are a team to keep an eye on. Now they're beginning to click. They are unbeaten in 6 games. Good start.
Aye, absolutely. I think any team capable of scoring 6 goals in a game obviously shows the quality they must have in their squad. Particularly going forward, banging in 6 goals, for one boy to get 4, then that's absolutely brilliant for them.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll move into the 4th division. We'll obviously start with Kilsyth Athletic, their 6th win of the season, a 3-1 win over Glenvale. I was looking at social media there. His first half seemed to be great, second half maybe wasn't so much. What was your overall thoughts on the game?
I mean, it's the old cliche, a game of 2 halves. That couldn't have been more apparent. First half, probably some of the best football we've played all year. We spoke to the boys all week about not only were we wanting 3 points, but we were wanting a performance. We'd won our previous 6 league games coming into the weekend there, but we probably hadn't hit top form yet. We played well in spells in certain games, and we defended well in different match days. But we were really looking for that intensity and that performance, and they gave us it. First half was absolutely brilliant. Went in 3-0 up, and we spoke at half time about not getting complacent and how Glenvale would react, how they'd come straight out the traps, and they did. And we just looked a wee bit sloppy second half. We ended up making some changes, and it calmed us right down. But initially we were poor on the ball, ended up getting a wee bit nervy, and that kind of spread around the group. And Glenvale got a goal. I think we were all well not being great the second half. We didn't look like conceding 2 or 3 or ever chucking it away, but we were disappointed with how we came out that second half, and it's something that we need to look at. And
obviously now that leaves you 6 points clear. We'll touch on other games in the league. St Peter's 2-3-1 was probably the game that I was interested in this league. You've obviously played against both. Were you surprised at that result? Obviously you beat Threave the week before, but Threave, a lot of hype about them coming into the West. St Peter's have started really well. They've had a really good run so far. What was your thoughts when you heard that result?
I mean, I don't know if I would say I was surprised. Threave, don't get me wrong, when we played Threave a couple of weeks ago, they were absolutely brilliant. They moved the ball. The system they played to was really, they were on it. Everybody knew exactly what they were doing. We played St Peter's earlier in the season away from home. We beat them 2-1. But again, they were a good side. They tried to play football. They were a young team. So I always knew it would have been a close game. It's one of them. I didn't really know what way it was going to go. But it evens it right up at the top of the table now. I think Threave and St Peter's and West Park all level on points.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've got a wee cushion just now, but as I said earlier, nothing's won in October, so we need to keep going, knowing that the teams that are round about us, they can all beat each other on the day. We need to just try and keep doing our job.
And St Peter's, that obviously means St Peter's are sitting kind of that user 6 point clear, and there's 4 other teams sitting in 15 points: Threave, St Peter's, West Park, and BSC. West Park and BSC obviously picked up away wins to Eglinton and Ham in a row. What does that kind of do for you as well? Like 6 points clear and there's a pack of 4 evenly matched right behind you. It's all about obviously complacency. Like obviously you won't want to be complacent, but when you see a gap like that developing, but you also see a pack behind you, how do you feel about that as a manager?
Okay, don't get me wrong. The main thing for us is just making sure that complacency doesn't set in. I came home into the house on Saturday and I was talking to my mum and my dad, and they were buzzing, and I was like, just you need to relax a wee bit. And I'd be saying the same to the boys. Like they're due in the next kind of hour, in for training, so we'll have a wee chat before we go out. Like we've just got to keep preparing for each game. We'll take it one game at a time. Doesn't matter where we are just now in the table, whether we're 6 points ahead or 6 points off anybody. We need to just go and prepare the exact same as for every match. It's obviously really, really good for the league though that there's so many teams that are so close to each other, so competitive. I actually forgot about BSC until you mentioned them there. They've started absolutely brilliantly as well. 15 points. Well.
Yeah, they're
right up the top.
And you look at it like obviously this weekend, Easterhouse picking up their first win. They won 2-0 away to Rossvale Academy. Thorn with a big 3-0 win over Campbelltown. What's it like for these teams as well? Like Easterhouse getting their first win in senior football. Thorn, I think that's Thorn's third win. How good is it to see these teams getting results?
We went away to Easterhouse a couple of weeks ago. We came away with a win, but again, they caused us problems at times. And we were saying just in amongst ourselves that they're not far away. They'll go and pick up wins eventually. I think at that point they were on a winless run, but it's great for them to go and get that first victory away from home as well. I think it was at Rossvale, and we played Rossvale pre-season. And again, they were a tough side, so that's a great win for Easterhouse.
Yeah, absolutely, and it obviously means that league there's a lot of really good teams in it as well. But we'll touch on what's coming up for Kilsyth Athletic in the next couple of weeks. She's obviously have a long away trip to Campbelltown on Saturday. How much are you looking forward to that?
Looking forward to it. It's one of the dates that as soon as the fixtures come out, you check, right, when is it? It's my birthday weekend, so I'm 8 hours on a bus for my birthday. That's brilliant. But I know all the boys are buzzing. They're making up the playlist for the bus and all that. That's all they've been talking about for the kind of past week or so. So they'll be looking forward to it. It's obviously really important that we go up there and we do the job. We're going up for 3 points. That's what we need to come back down with. It'll be a good day out, but it's obviously if you come back down the road and you've not got what you went for, then it obviously changes it a wee bit. It's a tough place to go, travelling for that long, but it's one of them you need to go on with it.
Absolutely, and a big game the weekend after as well in the south. Obviously, he's going to Inverkeithing to play Hillfield Swifts, a really good team in the East Premier Division. They're a good side. Yeah. A big occasion for the club. How are you feeling about
that? I'm looking forward to it. It was a game that's obviously been delayed. It was meant to be played a couple of weeks ago and was moved. But it now means that our next 3 fixtures are all different competitions. So we've got Campbelltown we spoke about. We've got Inverkeithing. And then the following week as we play Kilsyth. So it's really exciting for us. Inverkeithing, obviously East of Scotland Premier Division side, they'll be really strong. And then obviously after that Kilsyth, a couple of divisions above us. So it's good for us to challenge ourselves against opposition who are on paper better than us. So it's a great test for our boys to see where they're at and see still what we need to do to get to that level.
Brilliant. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you on, Bailey. Thank you very much for coming on. Best of luck for the season ahead. I've really enjoyed it.
Thanks very much, mate. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much to everyone that's tuned in. Please follow our social media pages on Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, all the likes, and as well subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channels for consistent West of Scotland Football League content. Thanks very much, everyone. We'll see you soon. Cheers.